Hello and welcome to Truckee Talks. I'm your host, Maya Schneider. The holiday season usually invokes fond memories of warm meals, festive decorations, and gifts under the tree. Unfortunately for many families, the holiday season adds extra stress if they have little or no financial resources to celebrate. This can change what should be a merry season into a miserable season. Fortunately, there are things that Truckeeites can do to make a difference for families this year. Our guests on today's show are Joan Hartwell and Pati from Truckee Community Christmas, and we'll be talking about all the different ways that you can be involved. Ladies, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Maya.
Thanks, Maya.
Joan, tell me a little bit about the background for Truckee Community Christmas.
Well, the Christmas giving for Truckee started maybe even 10 years ago, and it was a real hands-on Christmas. We worked with a small group of people. I believe it was the beginning of community care. And they got loads and loads of food in big bulk amounts. We'd go to the grocery stores, would give them, people would donate, and then volunteers would get together for maybe, I don't know, 3 or 4 days, and we would bag individual little baggies of rice or pastas. And on the day of distribution for the families would come in and get a huge wrapped banana box full of foods. There would be a food drive at that time, and that was the basic Christmas giving. I believe at that time too the families might have received a small monetary amount for a turkey or whatever kind of meat that they wanted with their dinner. And it took a lot of work, it took a lot of time, and from there other donations were coming in. They were receiving a few odds and ends of toys, and of course lots of canned goods, and those were given away in the banana boxes. But it was rather, other parts of the community were doing other things, and so maybe 5 years ago, or 6 years ago, Pati, maybe you remember, the Seroptimists started doing a toy drive, and at the day that the food was given to the needy families, the Seroptimists were there with bags of toys for these families. And slowly but surely it's kind of evolved into a whole community cooperation where different groups who collect foods or toys, or in this case this year the Church of the Mountains is collecting warm coats, no other clothing, just the warm coats, are all coming together and doing it together. Boy Scouts, Girl Scout troops, churches. They call and ask what we would like or what we could use. They go out and they do a drive for whatever it is and then bring it in to the distribution center. And from there, it's now spread out. Last year, I can remember some years, maybe 8, 9 years ago, we'd have maybe 50 families. Last year, the total households that we served between Adoptive family, the food and toys, and then just food for single people households. We had almost 200 people, almost 200 households last year.
How many families do you anticipate serving this year?
Well, I know in the first week of applications there were 85, and already the Adoptive Family Program has taken care of over 50 families.
Now let's talk about what the Adoptive Family Program is. What does that mean? When you adopt a family, are there gifts or food, or what's?
Well, when you adopt a family, it's done through Safeway, and it's sponsored also by Rotary. And what they do is any individual or group or whoever wants to can go in and try to find a family that meets their needs or their capabilities. And what you're responsible for is providing gifts and a Christmas meal for that particular family. And the families can range anywhere from, say, 1 kid up to 5 children. And the groups are pretty much free to do whatever they want. Our experience has been that they're generally quite generous with what they provide for the family. Part of the idea of Adoptive Family is to get people to intermingle with other people within our community. And it's been pretty successful. We don't provide the guidelines for what these families need. The person who adopts needs to call the family and find out what the family needs and would like.
That's a great idea. That way it's not so distant, it's not hands-off. You're really meeting the people that you're helping out.
Exactly.
And being a part of the celebration.
The first year that Adoptive Family was started, or the first year they did this, one of the families that was adopted, the only thing that the 6-year-old child wanted in the family was a pair of snow pants, because he had not been able to go out and play on the playground at recess time. You have to have snow pants to go out in the snow. And so he'd been sitting in the classroom, and that's the only thing that was on his wish list. Well, that little boy had those snow pants in no time at all, plus, of course, toys. It's touching, because they really are specific needs of these kids, and many times it is just clothing, warm clothing for the wintertime.
You know, it's so easy to get caught up in all of the hustle and bustle of the holiday season. We're shopping and we're trying to get our house ready for family and friends, and it's so nice to stop and involve ourselves in helping other people also be able to celebrate the season. I think that's one of the gifts that you get back from giving to organizations like this. We talked a little bit about Adoptive Family. Now, there are other agencies or other groups that are involved with Christmas drives this year. Can you talk a little bit about those, Pati?
Sure. Yeah, the Seroptimists are doing a toy drive, as they have for the past 5 or 6 years, and there are toy barrels throughout the community. You can pretty much find them anywhere. And what we're asking for is new toys that are unwrapped, because we need to determine the age appropriateness for various toys. And the realtors, the Board of Realtors, is doing a canned food drive as well. And I'm not quite sure whether they have barrels out or how they're organizing that.
I don't know this year. I know other times they have just been at grocery stores on weekends or specific days and have collected the foods at that time. We've already received some foods coming in from a children's group, a 4-H group, did a food drive, so we already have some of those foods. And I understand that the food drive will be ongoing through the 14th anyway. I know they're going to have to sort the foods. Last year, by the time they collected the foods and had them sorted, we had 80 bags of groceries, which, of course, all families couldn't get bags of groceries because we had 130 of, or actually 150. So we had to divvy up the 80 bags of food within 150 families. But they also had received food gift certificates at that time. But the realtors they're collecting all these next 2 weeks, I believe.
Now, there must be some tremendous logistics involved here. What does Truckee Community Christmas do to oversee all of these various drives? I know that you're not involved with all of them, but the drives that you are, how do you oversee that process?
Basically, it's just one-on-one phone calls. We've tried to get our numbers out, our telephone numbers out for any questions if they want to do a drive and need a place to give it. This has been the main problem. Everyone loves to do this. We want to help out, but we don't always have a place to give our food, to give our coats, to do with the toys. And so this is what the Truckee Community Christmas does. It oversees, it's a coordinating group of people. And we make sure that there is a place where these can be dropped off, there are people to contact. Everything goes to one point, and then on the day of distribution, they're all given at that time. The families who have been screened receive notice to come in to a certain place at a certain time, and that's when they get their foods, their coats, their toys, their food gift certificates. And so it's the logistics on this is pretty difficult, but it's become much easier. Everyone communicates well in this community.
That's one of the blessings of being in such a wonderful community, tight-knit community as Truckee is. Families that may be watching this show that may want to be involved in this in terms of being on the receiving end, who do they contact, and what kind of criteria do you look for when screening families?
That's a Joan question.
That's a joke. Well, basically, the families, if they are in need, they need to contact Community Care, they need to contact Ormana, the social services offices, the health department, even calling if this is a family with children and they're in need, they can call Ruth Hall at Nevada Children's Services. She may be able to help them. Churches, call your pastor or your priest. All of the churches know about this, and even school. If a family is in dire need, be in touch with your maybe the vice principal or a counselor at the school. The counselors at the school, they do. They have applications, and they're there. They can contact us. They don't need to contact us directly. These need to go through the other agencies or schools or churches.
And families need not be embarrassed or shy about
Absolutely
this.
not.
This is a very stressful time, and it's hard for everybody. I can't.
Oh, don't you think? I think everyone's been through this.
Yes.
You may have had some really good years, but then there's a lean one comes up, and I think that's a point of strength that you can say, gee, could you just give me a little help this year? You know, I'm really having troubles.
As I said, their privacy is protected. Other than on the pickup day, we do not disseminate that information to anyone.
No
That's
one sees
important
it.
to know. That's important to know, so it's confidential.
Absolutely.
Okay, we'll be wrapping up here and coming back in just a few minutes and answering perhaps some questions that people have about where their materials go or their donations and how they're distributed.
Okay.
Welcome back to Truckee Talks. We're talking about the Truckee Community Christmas and different ways that you can get involved with donating to needy families this holiday season. We've got Joan Hartwell and Pati Johnson from Truckee Community Christmas, and welcome back to everybody. First of all, we've been talking in the first half of the show about different things that people can donate, whether it's warm coats for the season, unwrapped Christmas toys, food. I'm assuming with food that's non-perishable items, canned or boxed food. Let's talk about other ways that people can get involved. Now, you're having a wrapping night?
That's correct.
Okay, and what are the dates for that?
It's next week on December 18th and 19th.
Okay.
It'll be at the new hospital building downstairs, and it's from, I believe, 3:30 to 7:30 or whenever.
Great.
And that's really, if someone wants to do hands-on or maybe they don't have things they can donate, that's really where we could use.
It's another way to get involved. and help
Right,
wrap
and
presents.
we'll have refreshments there. Also, if they bring their own scissors.
That's
We have wrapping paper. We have lots of donations of wrapping paper and ribbons and Scotch tape. So lots of supplies that way. But when you stop and think about it, if we could have up to 600 toys to wrap. And so it takes a while. So bring your scissors.
If you think it's bad at home,
Yeah, right.
try 600
Bring your
presents.
scissors and a lot of good cheer, and it's fun. It's fun. You'll be working with students from the high school and people in the community. It's a good way to get acquainted and get that Christmas cheer.
Have a
Get
fun
into
night.
practice
Get-
for wrapping your own presents.
And get into the spirit of the season, too. It's a nice idea. Let's talk a little bit about some concerns that people may have. It's the holiday season and we want to think good, cheery thoughts, but some people may be concerned that their gifts may not be going to families that are truly needy, or perhaps that families may be taking advantage of the program by abusing the program. Let's talk about that a little bit. First, let's go back to how do donors know that their toys or their food or what have you are going to needy families?
Well, in the first place, the names come from, again, as we said, from social service agencies, through county agencies, churches and schools, and they are screened by those agencies, those groups. Our committee has nothing to do with that screening. They are pre-screened because they know those who are in need. It's something that they have dealt with and handled and are very aware of. So all the families who receive, to the best of our knowledge, there's no guarantees, but they do a beautiful job, and they have all along. I would imagine you probably, or someone might think about there might be some duplication, that a family maybe comes in twice. This year we've been able to put it on database and have cross-reference of children, the family name, the spouse's names, adults in the family, and addresses, telephone numbers. The whole thing is in there. It's a confidential database. However, it is there, and the computer is doing the work on duplication. So
That's great.
Works good.
That's great. So people really know that their gifts are going to who they need to go
That's
to.
correct. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes a huge difference. We touched on some of the locations where people can make donations. I know that I've seen the Seroptimus toy barrels in banks
Correct.
and in the post office.
There should be one in the post office. Safeway has a barrel. Lucky's, I believe, has a barrel. The market out in Glenshire has a barrel. The
Drugstores.
drugstores have barrels.
Sierra Sun, Mountain Hardware. You just look around; they're all over. I think we probably.
And if anyone wants a barrel, let us know.
Yeah.
We're happy to provide
All
one.
you
call us,
businesses
we'll
out
come-
there,
yeah,
pay
we'll come
attention to
get
this.
Another thing, tell them about how we ask people who have holiday parties or get-togethers to.
That's correct. The service clubs tend to do holiday parties and businesses
too.
or whoever. And what we have been asking is that people bring a new toy to their holiday party, and we'll arrange to pick it up if we need to. And that's another way people can participate when they're doing their holiday get-together anyway.
Great way to
They
get
can bring a
materials
toy.
together. Great idea.
Yeah.
How many families, we talked a little bit about how many you think you might get. Do you think you'll be able to serve all of the families that have requests this year?
It depends entirely on what people give us. The toy drive so far seems to be going pretty well, but we're about halfway through the process, so it just depends on what people give us. The same thing with the food drive. Our monetary donations, which we use to purchase food vouchers, or if we need to fill in a particular age group for toys, I believe last year did gloves for seniors and
we
slippers
did.
for seniors as well. We're about halfway where we were last year this time, same point as we were last year this time, but halfway through our needs. People can send monetary donations to us at P.O. Box 2955 in Truckee, and just make the check out to Truckee Community Christmas, and we'll make sure it gets deposited.
Any
and
amount
used.
is welcome. Any
Any-
amount. Well, if you can give $5, that makes a lot of difference. Makes a lot of difference.
At the end of the show, we'll be scrolling some people to contact for various donation spots and where to send money. So pay attention at the end of the show, and you'll find out a little bit more about that. I know that last year, through the Rotary Club, I was involved in the Adoptive Family Program, and how excited I was to be buying presents. I had a shopping list. I had a description of the young girl in the family who I was buying for, and it was just a thrill for me to be a part of that. And I really would like to encourage anybody that's listening or watching to be involved, become a part of that spirit of giving. It doesn't have to be for one simple holiday of the year. You think of it in terms of giving for a gift that really is going to last a whole year long.
One of the groups one year bought a bed for the family, for Adoptive family.
Oh,
That's what the
that's
family
great.
needed, was
All
a
they
new
needed.
bed. And so they pooled their resources. It was one of the church groups.
The bed and the story of the young man in his ski pants, these are great stories.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be toys or food. It depends on what people need. Personally, my favorite part of the whole program is on the day we give away the food and the toys to
Tell us about that. How does that work? People come to one drop point?
yeah, they, as John had mentioned earlier, they get postcards notifying them of where to come and what time to come. And then we've got everything laid out
Yeah.
by number. And
Each family has a number, and the toys that they receive, the food they receive, are for the toys especially will be for whether the family has boys or girls in their age group. They're all sorted out and they are given toys appropriate for those age groups. And then the foods and the food gift certificates bought with the money that is donated is given to the family by the size of the family and how much they will need. So each family has its own specific gifts coming and monies coming.
we draw from the service clubs in terms of soliciting volunteers to actually man the station on that particular day. It's pretty much an all-day
Yes, it
affair.
is. Mhm.
But it's also like adopting a family. It's really wonderful. The people are generally fairly appreciative, to say the least.
Right.
And it's just that's the feel-good part of the
Yeah.
whole thing.
And the way it works too is all of these families, when we first get the application, are put together, alphabetized and categorized, and then the adoptive families are just randomly taken out of this group of names. And all the other names that are left that have not been adopted then are recipients of the food and toys and the food gift certificates. And we try to make a specific effort to have those families adopted who really need to be adopted, who have extra needs. But the same families are not always adopted every year. It's also, we can cross-check that too, so that all families eventually will have a chance at being adopted, which is
That's
fun.
great.
Yeah.
That is great. Have you personally been involved with adopting a family, and how was that experience for you?
It was great. I mean, getting to know another family in the community was really fun, and giving them something that they weren't able to do for themselves was just, it's hard to describe how appreciative they were, and how fun it was to do, to go out and buy for someone
Yes.
what they needed.
Yeah.
The other thing, too, that we found with one family that a business I owned at that time adopted, they wanted to surprise the children. So the parents came, it was maybe 2 days before Christmas. They came in the afternoon and the evening. They didn't have the children with them. We had everything all wrapped and ready. We packed their car full, and they picked it up, and then they took it home. The grandparent had the children, and so they took it home and put it all together, and then brought the children home, and it was there. So they,
Santa came.
Yeah, it was like Santa came. And so
That's
each family have, they have specifics how they would like this handled. Yeah.
Again, towards the end of the show, we will be scrolling the way to contact people. Before we wrap this up, were there any other points that either one of you wanted to bring up?
Yeah, just we focus a lot on families, but we also have single people who are in need, who we try to take care of through this program as well, and also seniors. So people should keep that in mind if they want to give donations that would be appropriate for
For a senior.
That can be gloves or socks, or for women it can be personal toiletries, that type of thing. Things, it's just getting a gift where they might not get any. Many of the seniors do not have family left and are on their own, and so just having a couple of gifts at Christmas time means a lot to them.
Really makes a difference. Well, what you are doing in our community really makes a difference, and I'd like to thank both of you for being on the show and sharing this information with us.
Thanks for letting us tell you about how the program
Yeah,
works.
thanks,
Thanks.
Maya.
We appreciate it.
It's a wonderful season. It's a time for sharing and for being with family or chosen family. Nothing can make that experience more enriching or more fulfilling than helping somebody else who may be in need this holiday season. So please, I encourage you to become involved, either volunteering or donating if you can, and have a very Merry Christmas and a happy holiday season from all of us at Truckee Talks.
Can't believe I have to do this. Can't believe believe you did this to me. I thought you were my friend. I am your friend. I was only looking out for your best interest. You were gonna get hurt. No, I wasn't. I was fine how it was. I wasn't gonna get hurt at all. It was better. Now everybody's gonna start talking about everything. It's better that everybody knows, because that way you know what wrong you were doing. You should have thought about it before you did that. What are you talking about? It's not my fault. You're the one who said it to everyone. They needed to know, Jackie. No, they didn't. They did not. You were going down. It was fine how it was. It was fine how it was. You couldn't deal with it on your own. What are you talking about? You needed friends. No. I had my friends. You interrupted. I did not interrupt. I helped you. That's it. I'm not even going to talk to you anymore. Bye. Just don't even come near me anymore. Okay, guys, let's do it again. 10, 9, 8. I can't believe you did that to me. I thought you were my friend. I am your friend. I was only looking out for your best interests. What interests? Interests. Okay. Okay, let's start over. Okay. Wait. Okay. Okay, good. Alright, stop laughing. Start over. Okay. I thought you were my friend. No, wait, what did I say? What was the beginning entrance? I can't believe you did that. I can't believe you did that. I thought you were my friend. I am your friend. I was only looking out for your best interests. Going out, looking out for my best interests, telling everybody about our secret that we share. Guys, don't laugh. It's not funny. I mean, it's not. Okay. I can't believe you said that. I thought you were my friend. I am your friend. That's why I was looking out for you and your interests. Why looking out for me? Telling everybody about what I said, that what I just told you, not to tell anybody else? They needed to know, Jackie. You needed help. No, I didn't. I was fine how I was. You can't do it alone. You have to have people to deal with it with you. I'm you were not fine. You needed help. No, I didn't. I don't want to listen to this anymore. That's so embarrassing. Can I stand up first of all?
Thanks, guys. And these are today's issues. So just do it again. And these are today's issues.